2, 1. Oh, all engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
I do strongly believe that this is the decade for AI, for 5G, for blockchain. Now, just specifically talking about certain cryptos, I do believe that this is the decade for cryptos. And this is where I am putting my money and my belief when it comes to crypto investments. I do believe this is the decade for Ethereum. I believe that we will see the price of Ethereum in the thousands. I do believe that this is the decade for Vechain. I can understand certain frustrations with the price, but you're looking at this from a day-to-day. A lot of these cryptos that are pumping, let's just say recently, are not going to be here 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road. They're pumping today doesn't mean anything. Again, I do believe this is the decade for Ethereum. I do believe this is the decade for Vechain. Okay. With that being said, and I have them in the same tiers. Bitcoin. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I've spoken about Bitcoin. I don't like the one thing I will say about Bitcoin, and I've been telling a lot of individuals about this, some even family members who have been going a little hard on Bitcoin. There's a lot of reasons to have a little bit of caution when you really understand. I mean, for goodness sake, Bitcoin Cash, one of the developers, saved Bitcoin, and there's reasons for that. But there's just a lot of when you speak to a lot of people, especially that know about what the direction of Bitcoin is going. Like, they're doing all these little different things on the side, but the technology itself is not developing towards what it was meant out to be. But with that being said, the name recognition alone, when it's tied into blockchain, will carry it to the levels that it should go. Yet with that, I like to have structure, foundation in when I'm going to put my money into something as an investment, as a belief of it going to where I believe it would be going, such as Ethereum and Vechain. So I rather put, and I'm just looking at it from return on investments, I rather put my money on Ethereum than Bitcoin. That's just my opinion, not financial advice. But there's going to be a lot of these cryptos that are going to take off. I believe, honestly, that it's that it was. Now, again, you got to understand, when I was getting into Bitcoin Cash, I was getting into Bitcoin Cash at the $100 level, $120 level. I was talking about this. I was talking about the tokenomics. I was talking about that of all the other Bitcoins. I like Bitcoin Cash. And when Bitcoin takes off, Bitcoin Cash and a lot of these other Bitcoins, for no apparent reason, will take off. Now, I like Bitcoin Cash. I like the technology. I like how fast it is. I like how aggressive Roger Ver. I know I always pronounce his name incorrectly, but you know who I'm talking about. So his last name. But I like getting great returns on my investment. I'll say myself. I always do this. One thing I do is that I don't get caught up in the moment. I don't get caught up in the FOMO. I don't get caught up chasing. Well, now this crypto now is up this 10%, but how come Vechain's not moving right now? And that right there. If you're thinking like that, and you're thinking, well, again, let me bring it back to me. If I'm thinking like that of jumping ship and trying to catch this, that would be a disaster, right? When you have maturity in investments, you understand that certain things happen for no apparent reason, and certain things that you believe should happen are not happening. Does not mean that it's time to freak out. You understand? But it's always good to kind of not put all your eggs in one basket, so that you don't get caught up in the FOMO, because it is human nature. All right. Don't let anyone tell you, oh yeah, I never FOMO, I never get a temptation. No, it does. It could be frustrating. It could be, a temptation to, like, hey, listen, look at this one. Look at this crypto moving. How come this crypto's not moving? How should I move? And I know that's happening with a lot of people with Xrp and Vechain. They start seeing little things happening. And, well, how come Vechain's not moving? How come Xrp? I can tell you this, that I'll give you a perfect example for XRP. I remember when Bitcoin was moving Ethereum was moving, Litecoin was moving, and XRP was kind of like stagnant. It didn't do anything until the monster woke up. And I'm talking about that the last bull run, right, when it went from 20 cents, and then it seems like we're still dealing with people that are manipulating the market. Now, I've always been on the record of saying that every market is manipulated. Every single market is manipulated. All right. So this is not just a crypto blockchain thing. Money gets made, and then, hey, what's the next one? Hey, it's like cycles. This happens in the stock market, in different sectors of the stock market, and it starts moving around. Again, in any market, you see a lot of different things happening, manipulations. Blockchain is no different. But with that being said, I like having my money since we're talking about cryptos, in cryptos that I do believe in. And when I say believe in, I believe in what they're doing, what they're accomplishing. I like the organizations, the corporations that are involved. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes the more organizations that are involved, the more you can't do what other cryptos do, right? In the sense of you can't do illegal activities, you can't do some trickery here. That other cryptos know that their days are numbered, so they're going to do what they can to catch as much of the wave, of the bullish wave that they can, while other legitimate, and again, we're talking about cryptos that are on this course of being a well-established crypto business, blockchain, and utilizing the technology of blockchain and doing things the correct way with major corporations. Now, with that being said, let's be honest too. The bigger the corporations, there's a lot of different things that happen. Quid pro quo, and a lot of things happen. That's not the main part of the discussion. What I'm just trying to say is that let's not deceive ourselves as well. Like that, everybody plays by the rules just because they're big corporations. Sometimes for the most part, it's actually the opposite where, hey, I give you this, you look the other way, let's just get this thing done. The more power, the more influence, a lot of doors open up. But again, I do believe this is the decade for Ethereum. This is the decade for Vechain, and I'm going to put them on the same level. All right. I am very, very bullish on both of them. I can't speak for you, but I understand the importance of patience. Well, how long we're going to wait? Because again, you're comparing other cryptos who might not have no reason for pumping, but they're pumping, right? But I know that at the end, there's real legitimate cryptos, and then there's some BS cryptos, right? So that's the way I look at these things. Again, now, Ethereum is pumping. Ethereum not too long ago was at 120. Bitcoin Cash is pumping. Not too long ago was at $188, 190. Now it's going to 400. So what I did, of course, when I saw Bitcoin Cash, I had the opportunity at $100 and $120. Was okay. Am I going to go after Bitcoin, or am I going to go after Bitcoin Cash? I went Bitcoin Cash. Thinking about returns on my investment. If looking at it now, it's done very well. But again, Bitcoin is still going to do good. I'm just looking at the greater returns on investment. All right. So, and I was talking about this earlier. Then my next target was Ethereum. I said, never will allow Ethereum to leave me. It left me once. It's not going to happen twice. So when I saw Ethereum go down under $200, I got aggressive. 170, I got aggressive. At $120, I became very aggressive. I took care of those. So you understand those. I need to have in the top 5 the ones that I'm really, really convinced on. And Bitcoin Cash is more of the tokenomics. I actually like the technology more. Again, I was talking about Roger Ver. I think I pronounced his last name correctly this time. I like how he gets it. You got to understand, most of this is the marketing aspect of it. The Matic video that I just that's going to be coming out as well today. I was talking about Matic, that they get it, right? The marketing, the connections, they understand it. They get it. So those are things to be bullish. So I would put again, I already did a video on Matic, but talking about Matic, I can see Matic in the dollars. I have a family member who's actually going after Cardano, and Cardano's a good pick too. Cardano's one of those that's ADA. A lot of people ask me, hey, how come you don't speak about ADA? It's just, listen, doesn't mean that I don't like it. Not that I don't expect it to be in the dollar range. I'm just looking at certain cryptos. I'll tell you this, and I'm just being honest with you, and some of you might disagree with this, but I look at the technology of what Singularity Net is doing and what they're going to accomplish, what they're trying to accomplish, I should say, right? I understand the importance of AGI. I understand the importance of blockchain. And to me, when you combine them both, I'm going to go after that one a little bit more aggressively, low market cap. Just because it's not moving right now doesn't freak me out. I'm looking at this in a different way. Again, I'm looking at the fundamentals. Again, not saying that Cardano is not fundamentally sound. I'm just looking at this from a different perspective, and I chose to go after Singularity Net a bit more aggressive. One thing that I do is, for example, I don't like to just have a little bit of something. If I'm going to go after it, I'm going to go after it aggressively, right? And then there's the other where I put very aggressive, like Ethereum at $120, $150, pretty aggressive, but $120, I turned a lot into Ethereum, and I became very aggressive. I'm just putting that out there. Vechain at 0.28929, I became very aggressive. When I see those things there, now Ethereum is pumping more right now, and again, I do see Ethereum at the price levels of the thousands. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, when we're humans, does that mean that I'm going to hold to the price level of 5,000? Saying that Ethereum gets there, which is not out of the question, okay? Especially when you understand everything that's going on with Ethereum, especially in the time period. Within 5 years, and a lot of people think 5 years is a long time, but within 5 years, you can absolutely believe that you can see the price of Ethereum at 3 to 5 to 6, 7,000, especially what they're doing and what they're accomplishing, the staking. But I do believe this is the decade of Ethereum. This is the decade of Vechain. I'm very bullish on Matic. I'm very bullish on Singularity Net. There's other cryptos that are out there that are have great tokenomics. Bitcoin Cash is another one. Again, I mentioned that Bitcoin Cash tokenomics to me made more sense as a greater return on investment. Knowing how people are kind of like separating themselves from Bitcoin, knowing that there's certain things that are happening behind the scenes when it comes to Bitcoin that not too many people are familiar with. But again, still, Bitcoin has the name recognition and money will be coming in there. But there is some caution. There is some caution with Bitcoin, and you start understanding what those cautions are. I mean, it would be. Let me say this. I do believe there will come a time when Ethereum takes over the realms of cryptocurrency for everything, right? Like that's the one you're going to want to hold moving forward. Okay. Now comparing Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin, it could be surprising, but it wouldn't be so surprising. I don't know if that makes sense. And what I'm trying to say is that Bitcoin Cash taking over Bitcoin, surpassing Bitcoin, the Bitcoin core. Again, it would, let me be honest, it would be surprising, but it wouldn't be so like, oh my gosh, can you believe that Bitcoin Cash surpassed Bitcoin? Like moving forward 5 years from now, 6 years from now. So with that being said, looking at the price of Bitcoin Cash at what levels of 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, and think about where I got it. It's not too surprising. So again, I really wanted to take care of those two. I'll be honest with you, I didn't go after XRP aggressively because a lot of things were happening around that time, and the price level was too high for me in looking at greater returns on investment. I believe when Bitcoin Cash was at $100, XRP was like at 30 cents. And I was like, it doesn't make sense for me. I like Bitcoin Cash. I like the tokenomics. I need to have one that can flow and fly kind of fast, and it's in the top 5. Bitcoin Cash halving coming in 2020. This was, again, in 2019, middle to late 2019, the way I was looking at things. I'm just talking crypto with you guys, just sharing my opinions of how I approach this, certain things in 2019, looking at the decade to come, starting in 2020, moving to 2030. Again, just sharing some of my opinions on these matters. All right, guys, till next time, stay blessed, be blessed.